right now. Let's start with the first sentence above.
여러분에게 행복이란 무엇인가요?
Okay, so let's repeat that sentence together. 여러분에게 행복이란 무엇인가요? So let's translate everything together. So what does 여러분 mean? Do you guys remember what 여러분 means? If so, comment down below. If you are watching consistently my Korean study live streams, you definitely are familiar with that word as I say it all the time. So what does 여러분 mean? Comment down below. If you guys know what 여러분 would mean, what does this word would mean? Comment down below. Even if you are not sure what is the meaning, you can still comment down below and try to guess the meaning of 여러분. So I will give you the answer in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Whoa, you guys are starting off the right track once again. So you guys are correct. 여러분 on its own means either everybody or everyone. So whenever you want to talk to multiple people, all of them together, you can use 여러분, which can mean everybody, everyone, guys, however you want to translate it. So now, does any of you guys would know what it means when you put the particle 에게 to a word? Most of the time, I think it would be like with nouns. So does any of you guys know what it would translate into? So 여러분에게, what could that mean? Does any of you guys would know the answer? Comment down below if you guys would know what 여러분에게 could mean. So the 에게 particle, do you guys know what that would add to 여러분? So comment down below. I'm going to give you the answer after I drink a little bit of water. So it will give you a little bit of time to try and guess what the 에게 particle adds to the word. Okay, so I'm assuming that no one knows. My brain is foggy, haha. It's okay, no worries. So this is it's intermediate level podcast, so it's totally understandable if you are not familiar, right, with that. So whenever you add 에게, one thing that is important to remember is that it is always glued to another word. So you will never see 에게 hanging out by himself. So for example, it could translate to everyone. So to everyone, blah, blah, blah. So that would be how you would translate, right, 에게 particle. So here in this case, it would be to everyone. But for example, if we would put my name in front of it, so Audrey, 에게, so it would be to Audrey. Okay, so whichever noun that you put into, it means to the noun. Okay, does it make sense to you guys? Hopefully it does. So here, to everyone, 행복이란. So we have 행복. Does any of you guys remember what 행복 would mean? Comment down below if you guys remember what 행복 would mean. What does this word mean? Comment down below if you guys know what this word would mean. Even if you don't know, you can still try and guess the meaning of that word, as it will make it easier for you to remember even if you try. So I will give you the answer in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You guys are doing amazingly once again. So you are correct. 행복 would mean happiness. So it is a noun. And I know what you guys are gonna ask me. What does 이란 mean, right? I saw that coming when I opened this window. So that's why I prepared myself. So I went to check to make sure I would explain it to you correctly. So 이란 is basically one topic marker, okay? So it is in the same category of 는, and it emphasizes the noun, okay, as the subject of the story to be. So here, the 이란 part is from the verb to be, which is 있다. Okay, so here it could translate as either an emphasis, okay, on the noun, which is happiness or happy. And then we can also say is like to be happy, okay, as, how can I say that? To be happy as like a descriptive. Does that make sense? So here, the 이란 would emphasize the word happiness. So we know that it is the main word of the sentence, and it kind of says also add the verb to be. So is happiness, or like be happy, to be happy. Yeah, which is happiness. So that is another way to translate that. Hopefully it makes sense to you guys the way I explain it. It's slightly harder, this topic marker, than, for example, even then for some people it can be hard. But this one is a little bit harder, but hopefully I made it a little bit more understandable for you guys. And then we have 무엇인가요? Does any of you guys know what 무엇인가요 would mean? Comment down below if you guys know what 무엇인가요 would mean. So here it is a formulation that is often used when you are asking a question. So that is why it has this ending. Thank you so much for the follow. Thank you. So does any of you guys know what 무엇인가요 would be? Okay, so comment down below what 무엇인가요 would mean. So I will give you a few more seconds to try and guess the meaning of that. So I will give you the answer in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So Merv, you are kind of correct. So yes, it could mean like what is. It would be the noun right here. But here could be like what does, just like the translation here. But what is or what does, both could work. So what is or what does happiness is to you, guys. Okay, so what is happiness to you guys? So that would be how this first sentence is translated. So let me repeat in the order of Korean words. So everyone to happiness, emphasis, and the verb to be, and what is. Okay? So hopefully it makes sense to you guys. Sometimes also, if you have a better way of translating a sentence than me, please comment down below. Sometimes I understand the sentence, but it's hard for me to put it into the correct words for English. So if you guys have a better ways to translate those sentences, feel free to comment it down below as well. So we will be jumping to the next sentence. So let's continue now.
어떤 사람은 물질적인 풍요를 떠올리고 어떤 사람은 경제적인 여유나 마음의 평안을 떠올리겠죠.
Okay, so now this is a very longer and harder sentence, okay, that we will translate right away. So let's start with pronouncing the sentence together. So 어떤 사람은 물질적인 풍요를 떠올리고 어떤 사람은 경제적인 어유나 마음의 평안을 떠올리겠죠. Okay, so there are many words that I am not familiar with, as you could probably tell. So let's repeat the sentence a little bit slower together. So 어떤 사람은 물질적인 풍요를 떠올리고 어떤 사람을 경제적인 여유나 마음의 평안을 떠올리겠죠. So wow, this is a very, very harder sentence. So let's translate everything together. Do you guys remember what 어떤 would mean? Do you guys remember the meaning of 어떤? Comment down below if you guys remember what is the meaning of this word. So what could 어떤 potentially mean? Comment down below, right? If you guys know what 어떤 would mean. So this is a word that you will see very, very often in Korean. So comment down below if you guys know what 어떤 would mean. I'm gonna give you a few more seconds to try and guess what that would mean. So comment down below. I'm gonna give you guys the answer in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So you guys have a lot of great answer. So 어떤 could be translated. There's 2 answers especially that think would fit well. So the first one would be which, and the second one could be what kind. So both of them have a similar meaning, and these would be what 어떤 would mean. So which or what kind. Is that what the other person said? Yes, Rani, that's what you said. So what kind could also work. So either which or what kind. We have 사람은, which is person. So it can be like, for example, which person. Depending on the context, I guess what kind of person could work, but I'm not sure in this context it would work yet. So let's see, but I think which person would be the most accurate way to translate those 2 words. So then we have here, which I think is originally from a verb, if I'm not mistaken, that was put into probably an adjective. So 물질 tokin. So I have no clue what that means. Comment down below if you know what that means. In the meantime, I will be checking on Naver Korean dictionary, but it is maybe something about asking. I don't know. 물질 in. So it's a type of person for sure, right? Is it? Or maybe it's from the verb 있다. Physical. Which person physically? Person that is materialistic. That could be that. That could potentially work. Let me just see what it would say. Yes, okay, that would work. So here, it would be more like materialistic. Hi, Audrey. 안녕, Sophia. Thank you so much of being here. Thank you so much for taking the time. Have you ever heard of Kimchi Reader? It's a Chrome extension. No, I have never heard of that extension. What is it about? Because I have the language reactor that is just right here, but since she didn't put any Korean subtitles, we only have the English translation, as it is the only thing that she put. So yes, thank you so much for the follow. I have never heard of that extension, but if you would recommend, I will add it to my list of plugin that I might add to my computer. So let me just write down below 물질적인, just to make sure that I remember, even though maybe I will never use that word, but at least I will have written it somewhere. 물질적인, materialistic. Thank you so much for taking the time to wait while I write that down below. It gives you a little bit of time as well to write it. Okay. Kimchi Reader lets you click on subtitles and look the definition in grammar. Oh, really? Thank you so much. I will take a screenshot of that, and after this live, I will check that out. Thank you so much for the recommendation. Because I only know about the language reactor, but the thing that I don't like about this plugin is that if the person didn't personally put the Korean subtitles in the subtitle section, you only have the English translation. So, of course, I use it every day and it's very useful. Okay, perfect. Thank you so much for letting me know about this plugin, because I had no clue this one was existing. So I will definitely check that out after today's session. But thank you so much. Okay, so let's continue now. So we have here materialistic. Let me just put that back if I can, maybe turn that off. 잠시만요. Wait, I don't know what I'm doing, because this is very annoying that there is double subtitles. I just want one, please. Will it work? Let me just do something very quick. Off. Maybe we'll just have one. No? What the hell? Okay. 잠시만요. Very sorry about that. Okay, so let's do it like that. Tokin is a suffix. What is a suffix? Today's vocab seems more advanced. That's great for learning, but I don't know almost any translation. It's okay, no worries. Like I said, normally what I'm gonna do is like 1 week more intermediate and 1 week more beginner. So this week will be intermediate, but you will be learning a lot of great vocabulary as well. Even if you don't know a lot of things, I feel like this is probably the podcast where you will be learning the most. So yes, it is totally fine. I mean, I'm going to be explaining everything. So at the end, you will be understanding everything. So yes, hopefully this is going to be helping you better understand. Okay, so let's continue. We know that, right? Here would be materialistic. So people that are materialistic. Il donne le istic. Ah, okay. Merci. Annyeong, Sosh. Thank you so much for being here today once again. How are you doing? That makes sense. The ik is sick. Yes, in French, materialistic, right? Same thing. Anyways, let's continue. We have 풍요를. So this is object, right? So here 풍요 from the translation, I think it would mean abundance. However, I am not sure, so I will just be confirming, but I'm pretty sure that would be abundance. Okay, so 뿡요, not 요, 요, 뿡요. Did I write it correctly? No, I didn't. 잠시만요. 뿡요. Corn in Egypt? Really? This is a very interesting translation. Being rich, being abundant. Okay, so it can also be used for being rich. Very, very interesting. So let me write that down as well. 뿡요, which is abundance. Okay, thank you so much for the like. Thank you. So let's continue now. This sentence, I feel like is gonna be giving me a very hard time. So now we know that here it's like materialistic abundance. 안녕하세요, Stefan. Thank you so much for being here today once again. How are you doing? Hopefully you're having a wonderful day. Thank you so much for the like. Okay, so here, sorry I'm late again. It's okay, no worries. Thank you so much for taking the time to still be here for the next 30 minutes. So after that, we have 떠올리고. So here we have the go particle first. Do you guys remember what go mean? Comment down below if you guys remember what go would mean. So it is, I'm going to be asking you guys the easiest question out of the sentence because I'm pretty sure that even if I ask you the hardest part of the sentence, you won't know the answer. So what would go mean? Comment down below if you guys know what go would mean. I will give you the answer in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So you guys are correct. This is a connective, right? That, like Stefan said, and it means what everyone else said. And so yes, this is a way to connect two parts of a sentence together. However, you need to remember that the go particle is only used with either verbs, adjectives, or actions, okay? So you cannot use it, for example, in between nouns. So I feel like here, this is technically a verb, okay? And yes, so it's like connecting those two parts of the sentences together. So I'm not sure what 떠올리 would mean. If you guys know, comment down below. That is another word that I will be searching right now. So let's continue, but from how the sentence is structured, it might be like, I'm not sure. Let me just check just to make sure. There is a lot of interesting word today. Where is the T? Sorry. Okay. Where is it? Li. Probably lida. To recall. Okay, interesting. To recall or recollect. So it's kind of like very, very far in your brain, right? So let me write that verb down below as well. So it's like when you forget something, which is often for me Korean words, and then suddenly you remember them, that is when you can use this word. But I feel like it sounds more fancy, so you might want to use that in fancy settings or when you need to be more. I did this in psychology. What did you do? What did you do? To recall or recollect the information you learned? Is that what you're saying? Recall and recollect. Let me just write that down very quickly. Okay, thank you so much for the like. Thank you. Okay, so here, recollect, recall, rethinking. When you have a deep thoughts, you have to think super hard to remember. Yes, that would be correct. Okay, so here it's kind of saying like, right, I feel like here in this case, 어떤 can also mean some. We saw earlier that it can either mean like what kind or which person, but here in English, I feel like some would be the best way to describe it, but most of the time it would mean really like which or what kind. Okay, so the kind of people, okay, that might recall, recollect that materialistic abundance is probably what makes them happy, right? I think that is what she wants to say. Like some people might think that being financially, okay, well is happiness. So I think that is where she wants to go with this part of the sentence. Okay, some people think that being rich basically is the way to happiness. What is the website that you use for definitions? So it is Korean Naver Dictionary. So it is, Naver Map, it's the same company. So just write Korean Naver Dictionary, just right here, and you will find this website. You're welcome. Money buys happiness. Yes and no. I mean, yes, this saying is very popular, but in this context, it's more because in the first sentence, she asked us what is happiness to us. So she's saying that for some people, right, it's being rich, basically. And then she's probably going to tell us another type of people. Okay, so let's continue with the rest of the sentence. So this is the first part of the sentence. I think that here technically there might be like 3 parts. Being charitable is my guess. To being happy, is that what you're saying? That is your guess to being happy? That is how you're being happy? Anyways, so let's continue, right? So we have to go. So this is the first part of the sentence. So let's continue with the next part. So 어떤? What does 어떤 would mean? Comment down below if you remember what 어떤 would mean. Comment down below, okay? What 어떤 mean once again. So it's gonna be the easy words that I will be able to ask you guys the meaning of. So comment down below. What does 어떤 mean once again while I drink a little bit of water? So what does that mean? Do you guys remember? Comment down below if you remember what 어떤 would mean. So comment down below. I will give you a few more seconds to try and guess the meaning of 어떤. So I will give you the answer in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So you guys are correct. This means in most contexts like which or what kind could be also the way to translate that. However, in the sentence in English, we can also translate that to, for example, some. Here, since we are talking about people, we can say like some people or like some kind, like not what kind, but like a kind of people. That is also another way that we can translate that. So let's jump to this word, which is, like Anne-Louise said, a suffix, if I'm not mistaken. So it is the words that are ending in what is IST I see. Like, for example, materialistic, okay, the ending of that word. This would be what Tokin would mean. 경제? Not sure what that means either. So this will be another time that we go. I think it's something about financial something. Economy. Economy. That's why I don't know all those words, because I've never used economy in Korean. So what would that be with the in talking? Oh, 잠시만요. Okay. So economical. Okay, economical. That makes sense. Thank you so much for the follow. Thank you, thank you. So let me write that down as well, even though I will probably never use that word in Korean, because I don't even use that in English. So interesting. Interesting. Talking. So it is economical. But not like economical, like to save up, or maybe it is to save up, or just the economy in general. I'm not sure what economical would mean in English. Economic. Okay, so maybe it's like to save up. I don't know. Let's continue. We will figure that out together. Okay, so we have here that we know it is economical, something like that, saving. Yeah, I think it could be like, the people that, are materialistically abundant. So they have a lot of, for example, I don't know, like the biggest cars, like a Louis Vuitton bag, things like that, right? So this would be the first type of people. And then we have the second type of people, are maybe the people that save up for good things. I don't know. Thank you so much for the follow. Thank you, thank you. So let's continue now. We will eventually finish this sentence. We have 여유나, which so I guess it's comfort. No, because I feel like 편안 would be comfort. Wait, what does 여유나 mean? I have no clue. This is the first time that I hear that word, so it is another time for me to go on Naver Korean Dictionary. This sentence is very technical. I understand that you guys don't understand anything as well, because I don't. But we have the na part that means or, okay? So it's just like 여유, which is having more than enough time, space, money. Interesting. This is hard. This is very hard. We are learning today very, how can I say that? I feel like it is politician words that we are learning today. The rich. Yes, but technically it's like having more than enough, a lot of things. So it's not just money. It's like, for example, time, space, maybe knowledge, right? Maybe that could be that as well. So let me just write that down below as well, because the day that I will want to sound fancy and smarter in Korean, I will use those words. Okay, so having more than enough. Sorry about that. I will just write down very, very quickly what that means. Time. But here, I think in this case, it is like money, right? But technically, this word is not only associated with money, but having a lot, like more than enough of something in particular. Hi, hello, thank you so much for being here today. How are you doing? So this is very interesting. We're learning a lot of interesting. So I gave you guys the answer, but I'm gonna see if anyone was listening to me while I was talking. So what does the na part add to 여유? Comment down below, right? What that would mean. What does the na add to that part? Surplus? I guess that could work, yeah. Because it's kind of like more than enough. Yes, but the na is a particle that we see a lot in my Korean study live streams. So you can either see it as inna or just na. What does that mean? It is always glued to another word, just like in this context. That is glued to 여유. However, yoyu is a noun on its own and na is a particle. So comment down below if you guys know what this particle will mean. I think someone commented and a word that was flag or something. Comment down below if you guys know the answer. I will let you guys know in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So you guys are correct. My or me. Technically, if it was, for example, 나는 at the beginning of the sentence, that would work. But here in this case, when you find the na at the end of the word, it means or. So there are multiple options. So here in this case, okay, more than enough, economical, okay, so it's kind of saying like you have enough money, okay, so or blah blah blah, okay, so that would be how we would translate that. So now remember, it means or and it's in between two or more choices. Most of the time it will only be two choices. If you have more than two choices, you will add the na to every choices. If there are 3, you will add it to the first 2, okay? So hope or helping others with little money. In this context here, technically, right, that could work, giving money to other people. But in this case, this is not what the sentence is saying. Okay, so let's finish off with the last part of the sentence. So here we have 마음. Do you guys remember what 마음 would mean? Do you guys know what 마음 would mean? Comment down below if any of you guys would know what 마음 would mean. So comment down below what that would mean. So I'm gonna give you, okay, a few more seconds to try and guess what 마음 would mean. Comment down below if you guys would know what that would mean. I will give you the answer in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So this is a little bit tricky because right in this sentence it was translated as mine. However, this is kind of misleading because 마음 is normally like in your heart. So it is what you are feeling. So Rani was correct. So it is a feeling. Okay, a feeling or in your heart. Okay, so here it was translated as mind because probably, right, in English we say like peace of mind, right? But I think maybe it's an expression in Korean that it's more in your heart than in your brain. So hopefully it makes sense. The translation is a little bit misleading, but normally 마음 is in your heart, how you are feeling. Okay, so it's a little bit like, for example, there is another word that is being used that I don't remember at the moment, sadly. So let's continue. After that, we have the e particle. Do you guys remember what this particle means? What does the e particle mean? Do you guys remember? We have seen it a couple of times before in my Korean study live streams. What does that mean? It is a particle that is often used, so it's very, very important to remember. You guys learned well. Thank you so much for the like. Merci, merci. So yes, you are correct. 마음, 에. So it is a possession, so apostrophe s, possessions of heart or feeling. So yes, you guys were correct. So it is a possession, of 마음, which is either heart or feeling. So it's kind of saying in the heart, okay? And then we have 평안을, which I think is like comfort. It's very, very similar to the verb 편하다, which is right to be comfortable. So let me just double check, but I think it is comfort. So where is 평안? Being peaceful. Okay, yes. Peaceful. So that would be how we would translate that. And apparently this is a Hanja word. So I don't know what these characters are, so I wouldn't be able to let you guys know what is the meaning, right? However, it is being peaceful in your heart. So that would be how you can translate that. Here it is translated in peace of mind, but in Korean, it's more, I guess, peace of heart. So let me just write that down below as well. So this is an adjective. Okay, so this is more of an adjective. So 평안, peaceful. Thank you so much for the like. Merci, merci. Okay, so let's continue now. We have one last word. So this is a verb, and it is 떠올리겠죠. So we have seen it before what it means. Do you guys remember what 떠올리 would mean? Do you guys remember the meaning of 떠올리? So we have seen it before. Do you guys remember? I'm basically saying a little bit of the answer in my question. Do you guys remember what that means? Comment down below if you remember what this word would mean. So 떠올리다, the verb 떠올리다. What does that mean? So I'm gonna give you 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You guys are correct. It is to recall or recollect. Okay, so whenever you forgot about things and then suddenly you remember about things. Okay, so that would be how, when is 저 used? So here, the ending 저 is often used in a context of where the person is kind of asking for confirmation. It's like saying right. So people that are some people might think, okay, that, is it formal? Yes, that would be formal here since it is ending like with the yo after that. So 저, 죠, right? If it was not formal, I think it would be like 지, if I'm not mistaken. But here in this context, it is more like formal, and it is a way of asking for a confirmation, like saying right, question mark. So that is how it would be translated in this ending. So it's always kind of requesting the confirmation of someone, even not necessarily if they know, but just, to make sure that they understand. So, when I teach you guys, right, those things, I always say right. So it is the same purpose of that. So it is like that, right? So that is how you can use this ending. Hopefully it makes sense. Hello, thank you so much for being here today. How are you doing? Thank you so much for the like. Thank you. So hopefully it's making sense. You understand? Yes, that could be also correct. That can also mean you understand, or just confirmation, right? That either they are still following you, what you are saying, or just because, sometimes it is stronger than us and we say right without very noticing. That is me all the time. For some reason, I always say right, but I know that I am correct, but I just want to make sure that you guys are following along. So that can be another way of using this ending. So now let's try to pull all the sentence together. So let's think of it as two parts. So the first part right here and the second part right here. So let's jump with the first part. So some kind, okay, wait, where is it? Okay, so some kind of people, okay, might think, okay, they might recall, they might rethink, okay, that happiness is with materialistic abundance. So, you buy yourself nice things, which will make you happy. And other people, okay, so another kind of people, okay, might think that happiness, right, is with wait, let me just make sure that I remember what those words mean. Why is the sentence a different word order? What do you mean? What do you mean? Okay, so yes, economical. Yes, okay. So while other people, okay, other kind of people might think or recall, okay, that being happy is through having more than enough money, so economical, okay, so just like, being wealthy, I guess that is another way that can say that, okay, financial comfort, that can be another way, right? So having more than enough, economical, so more than enough money, um or okay, here it's like having peace of mind, but here it's more like having a peaceful heart. So right, they feel better in their hearts, okay, if they have more money. So this is very, very hard to translate into English because the sentence is very, very complicated. And just like right here, it's kind of like a Korean expression, right? So comfort in your heart. Here we would say peace of mind. So it's slightly different. So if you have a better way to explain it, right, comment down below. But basically this translation could be accurate. So some people might think that happiness is with material abundance, while other people might think that the economical, having more than enough money, okay, or the comfort in your mind is like what you need. Why can it not be subject, verb, object, or something like in English sentence word order? So the thing is that so it's very different because like Korean language was invented, like for example, King Sejong is the one that invented Hangul, so the reading language system. However, Korean language was still existing before that time. It's just they were writing in Chinese characters. What if you wrote it like English in Korean? That wouldn't work. Like for example, it is the same principle with like French. Like it's a little bit similar French and English, but there are different things. So if you would translate everything directly word by word from French to English, it wouldn't make sense. So it's a little bit the same thing. But like I mentioned, Korean language existed a very, very, very long time ago. So even before that Hangul was created, so they didn't have the impact of Western culture yet. So, I think in Asia they have a completely different culture because Western came in way later. So, does that make sense to you guys? That is why the sentence structure is different, because people back then, when Korean was invented, they didn't know that, for example, English existed. So they might have known that there was other language like Japanese or like Chinese that were like next to each other, right? But they didn't know that, the other part of the world was speaking other languages. So it only came, I don't know which years, but probably like the 20th century or like late 19th century. Would they not understand if you said it like English? What do you mean? No, I don't think they would understand because, Korean was invented that way even before the English like system was kind of put into place. So, the Korean people still use a lot of Konglish word, but it's because they had this, how can I say that? This influence like in the past 10, 15 years from Western communities, but it's not because, they really had it that much before. Like in French, it's it's masculine, so it would be un restaurant bleu. But yes, exactly. So it would be like the opposite. So I feel like each language have like its own structure. So that is why also, Korean is different. So it's different because it was invented that way and it didn't have yet, the Western background that came in way later. So hopefully it makes sense to you guys. I am not a Korean history connoisseur or things like that. So hard, yes. So I'm only, explaining to you guys to the best of my abilities from what I know from Korean culture. Mind has to think longer. Yes, exactly. It's definitely, right, harder to understand, especially the Korean sentence structure. But, the more you practice, the easier it's going to get. Musical chairs with words. Literally. So do you guys want me to do one more sentence? Comment down below if you want me to do one more sentence, and I will do one more. It's off topic, but is there any difference between kansiki and kata? So technically, both of them would mean the same thing. I'm not sure if there is one that is more formal or not. Let me just see, like for example, kansiki versus. Let me just check, but I don't think there is any difference. So, oops, kwa. So I don't think there is. Okay, so probably some people will have responded. 잠시만요. What is the difference? Maybe here. But I don't feel like there is much difference. Okay. Now that makes sense. So technically there is a slight difference between those two. So for example, kansik is any kind of snack. So right, anything that you would eat between the meals that include like fruits, veggies, cheese, I guess, like anything that you don't eat during your meal that you will eat throughout the day. Compared to kwacha is like more specific to like the not healthy snack. So here it kind of includes also healthy snacks, while kwacha is more like the things that are not good for your health, the snacks that are not good for your health. So, okay, I didn't know that there was a slight difference to it, but thank you so much for, making us check that out. So do you guys want me to do one more sentence? Comment down below if you want us to do one more sentence, or should we end this for today? Before I check your comments to see if you guys want to continue, I also want to remind you guys that going on from tomorrow moving forwards, the time schedule will change. So technically, my live will be starting at 10 a.m. EST time zone, which is basically 4 hours ago. So it will go back to the original hour that we used to do during summertime, because yesterday I did it at that time and everyone that was there told me that they preferred this time. So it will be 4 hours earlier than right now. My Korean study live stream moving on from tomorrow. If you guys are not able to make it, please let me know. And if a lot of people are not able to make it, I might try to do some days earlier and some days at this time as well. So let me know if, for example, you wouldn't be able to join, and if a good amount of people are not able to join at 10 a.m. Okay, I might do some days later and some days earlier to make sure that everyone would be able to join at least once per week. Okay, so we will be doing one more sentence. Let's see if it's long. We might cut it, but let's see.
이 질문에 대한 답은 사람마다 다를 것 같아요.
Okay, so that is very short, which is amazing. Let's repeat that sentence together. 이 질문에 대한 답은 사람마다 다른 것 같아요. So let me repeat a little bit slower for you guys. There might be a couple of words, right, that you might recognize. So let's repeat that. 이 질문에 대한 답은 사람마다 다를 것 같아요. So this is very interesting because this is something that I actually filmed about today. So you will have, a video about 것 같아요 that will be coming out this week. Very, very interesting. I see to recall, I think. No, to recall is not in this sentence. So it is very, very similar, right, to recalling. But here it is not, sadly, in this sentence. So we have E. Do you guys know what E would mean? Comment down below. I think it's that word, right, that you said it was recalling. But it is not, sadly. So what does E would mean? Comment down below if you guys know what E would mean. So this is kind of in French. I guess you can translate that to, wait, déterminant. I think we can say in French it's déterminant. In English, I don't remember what that means. Not what that means, but what is this category of word? So comment down below. I will be giving you the answer right after I drink a little bit of water. So you guys are correct. So E would be this, okay? So this we have tilmun. Does any of you guys know what tilmun would mean? Do you guys know what tilmun would mean? So this is a word that is very, very useful in Korean. So if you don't know what that means, it is very, very important to write that down below. Especially if you are telling to someone, right, that you have, oh, I was going to say the answer, but it happens to me all the time. Sometimes I try to give you guys too much hint and then I end up telling you guys the answer. So I will give you the answer in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So you guys are correct. It means question. That is correct. It means question. So this question, this is a word, like I said, that is very, very important to know, especially when you want to ask a question to someone and be like, can I ask you a question? Okay. So that would be, right, 질문에, a good word to put in your vocabulary list if you don't know what that means. So this question, okay, 대한, I think 대한 would be, because I think it would be a way of saying about. So let me just, because we have 대해, 대해서, so that would make sense. Let me just confirm, but I think it's one of the ways to say about. 대한, it is from the verb 대하다, I guess. 대한, to confront. 대한, that would make it correct. It is with the e particle. So 대하다 apparently is to confront, to face, to deal with. This is interesting, but I don't think it is answering to our question regarding. Not sure. Let me just go on papago to see what that could mean. Yeah, here it says about. That would make sense, right? Yeah, let's go with about as well, because I don't see what else it could mean in this context. Like, for sure, what it was the context I was saying. So face, confront, handle, deal with could work in some context, but here it's more as an adjective to this word. Okay, so I guess we could say about. This question deals with, but the thing is that with the word that, because technically it is an adjective, okay, but it complements this as a noun. However, it wouldn't make sense. Deals with, because, for example, toppen is answer. So deal with answer, that wouldn't make sense. So about the answer, that would make sense. This question, yes, and once again, but technically the adjective would be right in front of answer, but I don't know if, let's just see if there is a grammar pattern that I'm not familiar with that could also, right, that could also be the reason why. So let's just make sure we understand. Okay, that is fantastic. I don't want to file. Okay, well, 잠시만요. Hopefully that will work. Why? It's not a foul. Oh, is it because I use it from... Okay, so I will need to write it manually. So, 잠시만요. Okay, 대한 meaning. Okay. 대해서, 대한. Okay, so it is a grammar pattern. Thank you so much for the follow, guys. Thank you, thank you. So this is a grammar pattern. Let's just check. Yes, so here it's followed by nouns. So it is used when the speaker wants to express concern or responsibility for something. The equivalent English word could be about for easier understanding. It is always followed by a verb, or in this case, a noun. So that would make sense since it is 대한, right? It is an adjective. So here, yeah, it would be about. Okay, that makes sense. So yes, it is actually complementing, right, the word in front of it and not the noun that is found after. Because technically there are two nouns, which makes it a little bit difficult. But we know that normally about is, with the word before. However, most of the time adjectives, it's the opposite. So it is in front of a noun. So that is why it was confusing for me. So it's not about answer, it is about the question. Okay? So the answer, okay, about this question. So that would be how we would translate this part of this sentence. So this question about answer. So, okay, answer about this question. We have 사람마다. So it is 사람 with the verb 마다. So 사람, we know that it is people. 마다, if I'm not mistaken, it is to be different. One way, right? There is also other ways to say that, but whoops, let me just double check. But I'm pretty sure it is different. Okay, so I think I might need to write it in front of it. So 사람마다. 마다. By person. Okay, yes. Okay, so yes. Okay, that makes sense. So here it's by person. Thank you so much for the like. So by person. Okay, so the answer to this question, by person. Here I thought it would mean 다 as in everything, but I think in this case it is from the verb 다르다, to be different. Because this is confusing. Because normally, right, 다 would mean everything or everyone depending on the context, but when it is paired with an object, it's from the verb 다르다. I don't know why there's not this particle though. You guys see my questioning at the same time. But that makes sense that it is actually from the verb 다르다. I think that's why that they put the I'm bamboozled. Yeah, very confusing. So 다 normally on its own would mean everyone. Okay, so it would mean everyone or everything. However, I think since they added the particle, which is an object, it makes it as kind of turn a verb into, is it an adjective? Not sure. I'm not great with putting verbs into, nouns or adjectives in English. In my head, I understand the translation, but I never know in which to categorize. I think it would be adjectives because different. I don't like grammar. I hate grammar too. So here, I think that's why, because normally, right, 다 could be on its own. Is it a grammar from 것 같아요? Technically, 것 같아요 is a grammar pattern on its own, so it doesn't necessarily have the 를 after that. Because technically, if it was 것 같아요, it would be 달 것 같아요, right? It wouldn't be 달을. So I think here, right, since they are adding the 를, it makes it, especially so that we understand, it is from the verb, okay? 따르다, because object particles are kind of, they accompany? No, accompany. What is that word in, how can I pronounce that in English? They are friends. they are with. How can I explain that? I have a hard trouble explaining it. I'm trying to find the best way. Because object particle, they are kind of letting us know that this word belongs to a verb. Oh my, this is intermediate. No wonder I'm in a different planet. It's totally fine. Yes, this one is definitely harder. So even for me, it's a bigger challenge compared to like beginner level, right? For me, it's like, you know, so easy. But yes, this one is definitely a little bit harder, especially because there is different words that I'm not familiar with, especially like the ones before that was like politician level of words. But yes, so to let you guys know, this is from the verb 다르다, just right here, to be different. They added, they removed 르다, I guess, and they put 를 particle to make it that it is actually from a verb. Because most of the time, the 를 particle will be associated, it is object particle. So it is often, for example, which example could I give you guys out of my head? I don't have any example right now in my head. Thank you so much for the follow. Thank you. But normally, a word that has an object particle is kind of associated with another verb. So technically, the thing that I'm not sure to understand here is, I mean, I guess that would make sense. Yeah, that would make sense. Because 것 같아요, you cannot really say that on its own. So let's go with the 것 같아요, and then after that, I will explain this after that. No way, I just stumbled upon this live. This is so nice. I was just trying to look up how to say, oh, that is amazing. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us here today. I'm actually doing those study sessions 3 to 4 times each week. So when will the revival event be to my Korean teacher? I'm not sure I understand that, but I'm happy to hear that you found today's live by accident. And hopefully this will help you a lot in your Korean journey, because we do those type of study session 3 to 4 times each week. No, not 3 to 4 times, actually 4 to 5 times each week. Now it's more like 4 times than 5 times. But yeah, so hopefully you will be able to join us another time. Sorry, LOL, I reached my character limit. It's okay, no worries. Okay, so let's finish. So 것 같아요 is actually a grammar pattern. I will go quickly over it because this is actually gonna be for a video that will be coming out this Friday, so I don't want to say too much about it. But 것 같아요 is a way to express your thoughts. So whenever you say, I think, blah, 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 so it's something that you are not 100% percent sure that it is that way. So for example, it's not a fact, it's what you think. So it might not be the truth, but this is what you think. So I think, that would be how we say 것 같아요, and it comes together, okay? So 것 is like something, and 같아요 normally is to be the same, but together it becomes more like I think. An opinion, yes, exactly. That is also another way, right? When you want to say your opinion, you can say that. So it is a softer way to say your opinion without, coming too strong about it. So Korean people, they like to talk a little bit like softer to not offend anyone. So that is one technique that you want to use when you want to sound more softer while expressing your opinion. So 것 같아요, I think that the answer, okay, about this question is different for everyone. Okay, so the answer will be different for everyone. That is how we can translate that. So here, 것 같아요, you cannot just say I think on its own, right? So what do you think about? That is the object. So it will be everyone different by everyone. So different would be an adjective to this, right? So it will be different by everyone. So that is why we have 들을 here, so that we know that it is a complement of the grammar pattern 것 같아요, the verb 것 같아요. So I think, because if you just say I think, you think what, right? You need to specify what you are thinking about. So that is why there is the right here. So hopefully it makes sense to you guys. Sadly, that will be the end for today. I know this was a very, oh, what the hell happened? Okay, very nice. Anyways, this was a very complicated, okay, session. And hopefully you are able to learn a lot of things. All done. Yes, that is the end for today, sadly. However, we will do another Korean study session tomorrow and Sunday. So we have 2 more days this week. So even if you missed today, you will be able to actually review this Korean podcast in a couple of days. So on my YouTube channel. So I just want to remind you guys, everything is on my YouTube channel. Is it the same time? So yes, that is what I wanted to remind you guys. So tomorrow, technically, it won't be at the same time. So changing from tomorrow, moving forward, I will be doing most of my live streams at the 10 a.m. EST time zone. So it's basically from 4 hours ago. So I will start from your time 4 hours ago. Okay, that is when the next study session will be, because a lot of people told me that yesterday I did it at that time, and a lot of people said, oh, I prefer it at that time. So if you guys are not able to make it because it's too early for you guys, please let me know. And if a lot of people are not able to make it, merci beaucoup pour la rose, Anne-Louise. Merci. So if a lot of you guys are not able to make it, I might do some days later and some days earlier, just to make sure that most people will be able to join. But I think everyone preferred for me to do it earlier. So starting from tomorrow, it will be 4 hours earlier. 3 p.m. is it? If for me it's 7 p.m. Yes, exactly. So it would be at 3 p.m. But if that is something that you guys would not be able to, please let me know, and I might do some days earlier and some days later. Oh, miss it? Oh, you wouldn't be able at that time? Please let me know, because if you wouldn't be able, I will consider. I finished college at 4:15. Oh no. So in that case, I will try this weekend to find a solution. So I might do some days earlier and some days later. So I will see what I can do. But thank you so much for being here. The emoji of this week will be the tiger. So if you guys are not familiar with the emoji of this week, it's basically next time you're going to see either any of my videos or any of my next time you join, maybe at the end I can join to say hello. Oh, that is sweet. But I will try to find a solution for everyone to be able to join at least one steady live stream each week. Okay? Thank you so much for the like. So yes, the emoji of this week is the tiger. So next time you either see my video on your For You page, on your YouTube page, or you join another Korean study live stream this week, you can just comment this emoji and I will know that you guys were here today in my Korean study session, and also that you join us throughout the week. So it's like a secret code that we have between each other. So, merci Audrey, à très vite. Merci à toi Anne-Louise d'être là aujourd'hui. Merci. So, hopefully, I probably can join tomorrow either. Oh no, I'm sorry to hear that. So, I think a few people wouldn't be able to actually join us earlier. So, what I might try to do is I will try to do some days earlier and some days later. So, I will let you guys know on my social media this weekend. I will try to come up with the perfect schedule for everyone to be able to at least join one Korean study live streams each week. Hello, thank you so much, Mimi. Have a great day, and thanks for the class as usual. We'll make it tomorrow. It's great with the group. Thank you so much for taking the time to be here today, Daja Mystic, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye, Audrey. Thank you so much, Rani. Can you do a poll or a question on Insta for us to respond to of the time? Yes, I can do that as well. I can try to do that this week and come up with the best schedule for everyone. Okay? Thank you so much for taking the time to be here, and I will see you guys tomorrow. 안녕, 여러분. 안녕. 내일 봐요. 안녕.